have a personal and a professional relationship, and I think you have to work towards it. I mean, you guys know in your own lives right now, there are some teammates that you relate closer with than other guys, but at the end of the day, each relationship is as valuable as the other one. I think a big part of building relationships and being a leader that's going to foster the growth of other team relationships is being consistent. It's hard to be a leader. It's not always the most popular decision, but in order to achieve something that feels good, winning, coming together, you have to put yourself out there. You have to go through something that's hard to achieve that. Nothing in life comes easy. I know you've heard that a million times, but it's true, and you're going to learn that more and more as you go down the line. The consistency, we talked quickly, about how many times does it take to lie to be characterized as a liar? Once. I mean, if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to build that relationship, you're going to put yourself out there, you've got to do that equally, and you've got to be willing to do that every single day. I think a big part of building relationships is understanding what some of your teammates are going to need, understanding that everyone on your team is different, and not everyone is built like you. And I think that that's powerful. I think the more relationships you build with people, you're going to grow exponentially as a human being, as a teammate, as a leader. And you can't be scared to have the hard conversation. I think a lot of times people think building relationships is all kumbaya and I love you, man, and it's easy, that was a nice goal, that was great. The tough conversation is when you really build the strength in your relationship. And that can be with a player, that can be with a coach, but ultimately, I think the biggest thing is being consistent and not being scared to speak up and speak your mind and do the right thing. I think all of you right now have probably been in a situation where you've seen a teammate go down the wrong path and you might not have had the courage necessary to stand up even though you knew it was wrong. You let it happen, you know what I mean? And it's not easy. It's something that once you start to get the ball rolling and once you start to stand up, what starts to happen is instead of that one voice, instead of you guys making that first thing and being alone, you're going to start to build the relationships. You're going to start to hear 2, 3 other 4 guys that are start to relate to that. And all of a sudden, by having that first tough conversation, starts to explode through your team. And now instead of having to have 10 of those situations as a sophomore, hopefully coming back as a junior, we've already come together, we've seen eye to eye. Now maybe we only have to have 3 this year. You know what I mean? Maybe next year we only have to have 1 because we've changed the culture. And that's your job. It's not coach's job, it's our job collectively. You know what I mean? A culture is established every single year. If you won a state championship the year before, you're not entitled to winning a state championship the next year. You've got to do it. If you were 0-15 the year before, by no means does it mean that you need to be 0-15 this year. Every year, every day, every practice, you have an opportunity to be consistent and work towards a common goal. I think it's also extremely valuable from a player's perspective. Obviously, I'm a coach now, but not too long ago, I was still in the playing realm. I think it's important to build relationships with some of the guys on the team that might not be the popular guys, or might be the guy that sits in the corner of the locker room and is a little bit socially, not necessarily the guy you see on the weekend, that sort of thing. It's going to go a long way. There's a lot of cliches in sports, but your weakest link is eventually going to show itself down the line. You want everybody to be a brotherhood, a family. And that really, I think the common theme is don't be scared to be a leader. Be consistent with your leadership and understand the importance that you're no better or worse than anyone in your group or team. And really, if you get that essence, if you get to that point, the special thing is not only are you going to grow as a person, not only are you going to grow as a team and an organization, you're going to carry that with you for the rest of your life. I mean, sports is amazing, and why all of us are addicted to sports in this room as coaches is because this is going to set you up to be successful in whatever you want to do far beyond this. That's what I thrive on as a coach. That's what I love as a player. Obviously I love the X's and O's, I love that, but I love building mentality. I love showing people a way to come together. And I think a lot of young players don't understand that you have that opportunity, and you do. You have an opportunity to change the way your teammates, the way your group of people perceive what we're going to do every single day. It's not easy. Understand there will be times, just like in lacrosse, you will fail, but you'll be stronger the next day if you try again. And that's the common theme. Leadership is not when it's easy. Leadership is every day. Leadership is working towards a common goal. And leadership is also knowing when to pick up and support your teammates when they're having a tough time. And you know, just from being here for a couple days with you guys, I know I've primarily been working with Southridge, but we've seen a lot of good things from you guys. You can see right away that your group of guys relate to you. They look to you guys, and that is a responsibility. You can't dodge that. When guys look to you, you've got to step up and answer that call. And I think all of you, I can tell just by looking at you guys, you're engaged. I think you're starting, that light bulb is starting to go off of how much you can affect your team. Just spend some time thinking about it. You know, if you're not going to put in the work before practice, if you're not going to think about your team dynamic and what you can do to help grow, you know, relationships on your team, you're not going to be ready if you just show up at practice. You got to put some time and think about it, see what you want to do, and you know, enjoy it. Build that competitive environment, build that support system for everybody, and there will be a day as a leader that you need to have support. The more you foster that growth, you know what I mean, there'll be other guys to be there for you when you need it. So.